Starting, a small announcement, we found a purse. Mr. Bayer lost a purse here in the room. If he's here, we've got it. And now we go on with the design track in the whole afternoon. And the first topic gonna be on fashion and business. And I want to ask Xavier, Marc, here he is. Xavier Cour from Vente Privée, Marc Ecko, founder of Ecko, and Suzanne on stage. Suzanne is our bureau head in New York. No. She's working for Focus and news correspondent in New York. Suzanne will introduce all of them to you. Have a good session.
Thanks anyway. Well, I have to sit in the middle.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you guys.
Should be. Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. It's really great to have you all here at this truly, truly wonderful event.
I figure everyone's taking pictures, you know.
Thank you.
Join in.
Can I get it on Facebook?
Maybe.
Xavier?
All right, good.
Okay. Fashion and business is going to be a really exciting session. We're going to talk about the future of fashion. And I don't mean fashion in the sense of haute couture or the runway shows in Paris or Milan, or in the sense of the new colors and the new fabrics of spring-summer 2009. I mean the new business models in fashion. We are going to talk about convergent customers, about multiple platforms, and really creative branding. And I am delighted to introduce the two gentlemen here on stage with me. Both of them are true next-generation marketers, and much more than that anyway. So, to my right, Xavier Cour, one of the 7 co-founders of VentePrivée.com, which is the trend-setting French e-commerce business model that hosts designer sales for invitation-only customers. You guys just celebrated your billionth customer.
Yeah, we
billionth, as in eine Milliarde in German. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is.
In November.
In November, yes.
November.
Yeah, the 1 billion visitor. Yeah, we were very amazing. And she came to the office, and she when I called her and I said, well, I would like to invite you in Paris for this. She said, well, is it a joke? And she hung out. I said. So I called back and I said, well, I swear I'm one of the co-founder, and she couldn't believe it, and it was pretty fun.
Great. Yeah. And on my left side, Marc Ecko, whom the New York Times calls the navigator of youth culture. Marc also happens to be the founder and chief creative officer of Marc Ecko Enterprises, a full-scale global fashion and lifestyle company with over $1.5 billion in sales last year. So, a hand. Give us a hand.
So, Xavier,
when do we work together?
Me and you with the turtleneck and the wool jacket and the jeans, huh? You guys notice that? Great minds.
Yeah.
Dress alike.
So we start off with Xavier. Xavier will tell us how VentePrivée.com really works and why it's not just another online retail store. I think we have a little video clip now, and then we have the presentation.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here. This small trailer was a mix of some different trailers that we do for every sale. We do 3 to 4 sales per day. That's events only. And this is a mix of some of the trailers that we made. Everything is made in-house. We have 300 people working only for that, for the movies, for the music, for the shootings, and we are very proud of these people. So I would like to explain you a little bit what is Vente Privée, and mainly what is the events sales business. Vente Privée is, we created Vente Privée with my partners in 2001. It's now a huge success in France, and we just started in Germany. It's 6.6 million unique visitors per month, more than 1 million per day. So it's 53 million visits per month, and which is very important, it's something where something happens every day. So that means our members, they like to come every day, because every day they know that something will happen on Vente Privée. So that's why we have more than 1 billion page views per month, which is pretty huge, and very expensive for some of our providers. Our turnover in France in Europe was 510 million in 2008, 21 million euros in Germany, and we are very pleased about that, because we started only 1 year ago, and for the first year it's very good. 7 million members in Europe, only 300,000 here in Germany, but it's growing. What we do is every day we organize a sale. So we organized more than 1,200 sales last year with 750 brands. What is very important, it's everything we do it for the brand. We are on the internet, but we don't come from the internet. We come from the service to the brand, which is helping them to sell their overstocks. Today, it's a lot of figures, but 900 employees. We hired 250 people last year. We plan to hire 250 new people this year. We sold 28 million products, and we are shipping them every day from our warehouse. The overstock market, which is our business, and that's why we don't work yet with Marc, because I don't think he has any overstock in Europe, because it's launching the brand, I hope, soon in France, is estimated 30 billion euros, and every brand generates between 5 and 10% overstock. So we created Vente Privée for this target, to give the service to the brand to sell their overstock, and keeping the brand, the image of the brand, good. In fact, how it works, it's very easy. We send by email to our 7 million members an invitation for the brand, for the sale. The sale will go only for 48 to 72 hours, and it will go on only once to twice a year, no more. We want to keep it just an event. It's the job of Marc to sell the new collection. It's our job to sell the old collection, and only that. In no way we have to go on their field. It's what is very important. We did an invitation-only club because when we created the company in 2001, we didn't want the price of the products to be on the Google search or things like that. We didn't want to publicize it. With 1.5 million people coming every day, we can sell huge quantities of products, which the record today is 300,000 products in 2 days. For example, this morning we just opened a Kaufman & Broad sale. Kaufman & Broad is a company who build apartments and sell apartments. And we sold already 60 or 70 apartments since 7 o'clock this morning. So it's very efficient. So for the value, it's of course very interesting for the brand, because there is no more quantities than it used to be, but the same quantities which used to stay in the cheap store for months and months come on the net and fly away in 2 or 3 days. The way it works, our team of buyer sources the product from the brand. We organize everything, the music, the sale, the photo shooting. We have 40 new studios in Paris. We run the sale, and after, and that's why it's interesting in a business point of view, after the sale we order the product and we ship them directly to the customer. So the growth was pretty good. We are planning to do more than 600 million euros next year, in 2009, sorry, this year. We just opened UK and Italy in September, and we opened in September 2008 Germany and Spain, and we did 21 million here in Germany, 23 million in Spain, so it's going pretty well also. And what is and it's the last one, what is very interesting, when we launched the company in 2001, it was a service for the brand. It was, in fact, get rid of the stocks, selling them fast, and that's it. And with the success, we discovered that we are more than that. Now we are mainly an advertising canal, because we just made a survey with Louis Harris, which is a part of Nielsen, and we discovered that 4 people out of 10, when they come on the site and they don't find the products, they go on the store and they buy the brand. So we discovered that because a huge, Nike in fact, told us that the 2 or 3 days after the sale on Vente Privée, they had more people in the store. So we looked at that and we found out that 4 people out of 10, they go on the store. And that's very important because the business model is really a triptych. It's the brand who launch all the time new products, and they need to launch new products for the regular store because they need the new products to have the people come. And what they don't sell, we sell them, but in 2 days. So if we do that fast, the brand can launch new collection quickly. So that's the way Vente Privée works. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about brand image. Usually for designer brands, they dread having to get rid of their overstock because the overstock ends up in trashy little discount shops, and that hurts the brand. And that's exactly where your merchandising program hits the spot.
Yeah, exactly. That was the idea when we created the company. It was our job since 25 years to sell the overstock of the brand and sell them where it can be sold. So that means not very nice stores. And when you go in that kind of store, usually you find the product in a big basket, and it's not very well done, very well presented. And when you know that the brand has spent so many euros on the marketing of the brand, it's not very good for the brand. So the idea is exactly this. It's putting the brand on the internet with a nice movie, a nice trailer, shooting nice and beautiful models with great photographers, putting them in a very good environment. And these products we were in fact actually dead, almost dead. They have a new life, and they bring new customer to the brand. In fact.
And you even compose your own music for the trailers.
Yeah, we have 5 musicians, and we created and built. They built, in fact, 5 studios. We create 5 or 6 musics per day, so they are very good. And which we just launched. In fact, we launched 1 year ago a CD, a real CD, with the best music of Vente Privée. It's called VP Sound. And 1 week ago, because we met the producer of Patricia Cass, who is very well known in France, not that much here in Germany, we launched her CD only on Vente Privée, but at 6 euros instead of 15 euros as it is usually on the big brands.
There are dozens and dozens of copycats out there, because this is one of the very few times in recent history that American companies are actually copying an internet economic model that was invented in Europe. Back in December, I got an invitation from Guild.com. That is the new New York startup. They are trying to do the same thing as you guys. So how big is your first mover advantage?
In France, it's huge. It's huge because we have 70 copycats, but we have maybe 95% of the market. here in Germany and in Spain, it's the same thing. We had some good copycats. The word is not very nice. Some of them are here, I know, who followed us, and they copied it, but they copied it in a very nice way. So we have two strong competitors here and two strong competitors in Spain. But the market is huge because we will do 450 million euros in France, and we have still rooms to grow. It's going to be the same here in Germany, and there is a huge possibility for 2 or 3, no more.
Let's talk about growth a little bit. In 2007, the venture capital and private equity firm Summit bought a 20% stake in Vent Privé. What did you do with the money, by the way?
We can focus now on the company because we have no more problem for the rest of
your life.
Of our life.
So it went to the private bank account, right? Well, that's nice. So what about the expansion plans? What's next for Vent Privé?
Next, it's growing. It's keep growing in Germany and Spain and Italy and UK, which are the 4 big markets here in Europe. And when you know that we did 450 million in France and we are still growing, the possibility of development in Europe is huge. So that's the main goal.
Okay.
I know you want to ask.
Of course. How about the USA?
Of course. Really, I don't know. We have to focus on the European development. It's a huge job to do. Of course, we are looking at what's going on the US, and you talked about Guild or Hulala, and they are doing pretty well. But if we want to develop Europe, we have to stay focused on Europe. We will see after that.
Okay, thank you, Xavier. Before I start quizzing Marc Ecko here, we'll show a little video clip of the wild, wild world of Marc Ecko Enterprises. I met Marc last year in spring when I interviewed him for Focus magazine. And, you know, I thought I had an appointment with a fashion designer, and I glammed up and I went to his headquarters on 23rd Street. I got out of the elevator and thought we would meet in a conference room. I ended up on a basketball court because his office is a basketball court. And I'm a quick thinker. I thought, wow, that's good for a first paragraph. You know, shooting hoops with the fashion designer, that's a great thing. But we couldn't do that because the end of the basketball court was stuffed with original art. There were oil paintings there all over the place. Because Marc has 2 resident artists in his headquarters. They have their studios there. He curates their art. And at that time, one of them was painting rappers. I mean, rappers with bling all over them. They looked like Christmas trees. And the other one was painting Catholic bishops.
Well, actually, no. Alex Melamed of the Melamed and Kumar fame, famous Russian Sats artist, was painting both the rappers and the Catholic bishops.
What was the other one doing?
Anton Kandinsky,
machine guns,
Vasily Kandinsky's great-grandson, was painting grenades
and machine guns.
And
I remember
guns.
that. Yeah, Uzis.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just telling you this because I want to make the point that Marc is not just a one-dimensional fashion designer. He is an artist himself. He loves art, has 2 artists in residence. He's very active.
And I paint myself, and I have my own painting studio. And
he's very active in education, on the politics level. He actually challenged the New York Mayor Bloomberg with his graffiti law in court, and I think you guys won.
That's correct.
Yeah. He's a philanthropist. He's not only saving the rhinos, that's his label animal, but he's also helping kids all around the world. There's an orphanage in the Ukraine.
That's right.
He's a dad.
That's right.
So he's a lot of things. And all these things, all these unlimited things translate into his brand. And we'll have a look at the brand now. Can we get the first video clip, please?
It's really important that I don't define myself by one single thing. If you're operating from a comfort zone, you are in the wrong business. Growing up in the 80s, painting these t-shirts one piece at a time, I learned that hustle of making something from nothing. I'm into disrupting the status quo of how you speak to your consumer. It's not what you make, it's how you make people feel. I am American business.
How is it that the biggest name in urban apparel, the biggest name by far, is not a rapper like Jay-Z or P. Diddy, but is instead this guy?
Check, check. Look alive, people. Doors open in 1 hour. Martha, this is your inner monologue. Put the napkin down.
He's at it again.
My name is Marc Ecko. I am the Chief Creative Officer and founder of Marc Ecko Enterprises. Marc Ecko Enterprises is a really big company.
I love a guy who owns a big bleeping company.
His company now has 12 fashion and lifestyle lines, including the original clothing line, Ecko Unlimited, and a skater line called Zoo York. Ecko also has a magazine and a video game unit.
We look at him as the cultural navigator for the next generation of young men.
The way that I got interested in Marc Ecko was seeing that rhino logo on a lot of people on the street, because its popularity was growing sort of in lockstep with a number of entrepreneurs and performers and artists in the hip-hop world.
Oh my God, I'm at the hottest spot in LA right now.
And paying attention to the endangered status of the rhinoceros, Ecko Unlimited presents Expedition to the Top of Rhino Mountain.
Atop the musical mountain is the phenomenally popular Ashley Tisdale.
My way is always to kind of embody a lifestyle and work my way up.
And of course, Star Wars. Now, Marc Ecko has a limited line of stuff. Hot guys like Justin Timberlake, David Beckham, everyone is freaking out for this collection.
Marc Ecko Enterprises is planning to open 150 retail stores by the end of 2009 as part of a large expansion plan.
These guys are rock stars, man.
Just listen to these kids who participate in an educational program run by Ecko.
Past few years, Ecko has lent his name and face to the battle over graffiti. Ecko even joined 7 young artists in filing a First Amendment lawsuit.
Ecko is also engaged in some savvy self-promotion. Last year, he created an internet sensation when he posted this video online, which appears to show Ecko tagging Airforce One, earning himself tons of free publicity and also street credibility.
Okay. Marc, you're sort of the Steve Jobs of urban wear. You literally started out in your parents' garage.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing to do.
In your parents' garage in New Jersey.
That is correct. Painting T-shirts. You know, in high school, I was a beneficiary growing up. You know, in the Northeast during the 80s when, you know, so much of popular culture was changing. The browning of American popular culture with hip-hop and this kind of atomization of, you know, media with, you know, the introduction of cable TV. It was like the future arrived when the cable truck pulled up. Video gaming, so many things, Reaganomics, Say No to Crack, all that stuff had a big impact on me.
So the New York Times calls you the navigator of youth culture, and you are no one-dimensional fashion designer, and your customers are no one-dimensional customers either. What is your market? Who is your atomized customer?
Well, first of all, I don't think of myself as a fashion designer, the kind of Mr. Armani, Mr. Klein, you know, fashion designer in that sense, where I'm going to make some great innovation in the statement about, you know, the rise of a pant or the lapel of a jacket or some kind of fabrication. I think of myself much more of as a marketeer and a curator who happens to make clothing. I think my customer's young, although as I've matured, I've managed to kind of mature the brand. Where you look at a paradigm like LV or Gucci or Ralph Lauren, where you have a pyramid, and at the very top of the pyramid is an expression of the brand. That's an abstraction, an artistic abstraction, very aspirational, usually expensive, hard to get access to. And the brands trickle down and diffuse to a base where they could sell water in a bottle and white underwear and, socks and stuff and makeup. So my story is that, I started from the bottom of the pyramid, and I've slowly and incrementally built it up. So I've kind of taken my consumer along with me as I just started with T-shirts and jeans, 16 years ago.
And your consumers changed too. I remember we talked about kids used to be like, you had the basketball kid in high school. He would dribble the basketball to school and wear Nike high tops and maybe come back after school and play a basketball game on his video, whatever it is.
Yep.
But these days, kids are totally different.
Yeah, I think in the 90s, the C word was crossover. Today the C word is convergence. I always believed that the culturally ADD kid, the kid that, who didn't discriminate against what was cool. He could be emo and into skateboarding and into hip hop, and he didn't have to live in one narrow, bucket. And so much of, what built popular culture in the 80s was quite the opposite. It was much more narrowly defined. So today it's all mashed up, and I think that's a part of what makes it very tricky to market to young people today as well. I've been a great beneficiary of that, but it's also been quite a challenge, because as I enter markets, I can no longer be number one in those specific genres. I'll often land number 2 or 3 in those genres. Let's say like mixed martial arts, MMA fighting, UFC, which is really big in America. As I market in that arena, there's other brands that have been there singularly, but I have this capacity to be in these different spaces, and it's kind of the aggregate of those things that define my brand.
Another New York Fashion Week starts in February in New York, and you are the youngest board member of the CFDA. That's the Council of Fashion Designers of America. And there are such icons on it like Diane von Furstenberg or Oscar de la Renta.
Yeah.
You're on there too, and you're the only one who doesn't have a runway show in Bryant Park.
Well, I used to have runway shows, and I just find that they're just very indulgent. First of all, I love doing them. As an artist, as a creator, they are extremely cool and fun to be expressive, and they're explosive and exciting, But as a business model, they're very indulgent. To spend upwards of $1 million for 15 minutes when retailers today don't even write paper or buy as a reaction to those shows. And it's a belief of mine, and maybe because my competency is largely men's, and because men don't necessarily react to runway shows like women do. And maybe as I grow my women's business, I might enter it again. But I'm not convinced that my consumer cares about that. So I challenge myself on utilizing my marketing money a little bit differently.
So you use different ways of making a dent, as you call it.
Yeah, or trying to get an emotional response.
Right. So we'll show another video clip in just a second, and I'm just telling you guys what we'll see. It's the incredible story of an incident of back in 2006, when 2 graffiti sprayers tagged Airforce One, the plane of President George W. Bush.
Yes.
Or maybe they didn't, but we'll find that out. Let's show the video.
Defacing Airforce One with graffiti on the runway. Impossible? Well, you wouldn't think so if you logged onto a certain website. This grainy video provided by stillfree.com is circulating the internet.
It's a home video, shows a graffiti artist on a covert operation. It shows taggers going after what looks like Andrews Air Force Base.
That is what looks like Airforce One. And that's what looks like two people scaling a fence at Andrews Air Force Base.
Once inside the restricted area,
someone runs to Airforce One. They can be seen writing "Still Free" on one of the plane's engines.
That says "Still Free." Those guys tagged Air Force One, which is why this video has been rocking the internet.
On the internet. Time now for the shot. Our favorite photo or piece of video.
Still free, baby.
It was so convincing that the Air Force actually started investigating. And then they too found out it was all a hoax. A very elaborate hoax.
Successful clothing designer Marc Ecko
rented a 747
and painted on one side to look like the president's plane.
It fooled a lot of people.
The president that flies in it doesn't own the plane. We the people own it. It's a symbol of our freedom to express ourselves.
Why did they do it?
The president can't fly around like a rock star, talking about how America is the greatest country in the world, but ignore what makes it great. The nature of this stunt would really create a potential pop culture moment for us to all kind of look back on and be nostalgic about.
Still free, baby.
So you guys actually rented a 747 and painted it that it looked like Air Force One?
Oh my. Yes, this is true. Yes.
So who had that idea?
It was what had happened is there was a councilman in Queens, New York, who I was having an exhibition, a painting, an outdoor graffiti exhibition that was just a real feel-good thing in New York City. I had permits in place, and in the 11th hour of the planning of this event, with a permit in hand, this gentleman went and provoked Mayor Bloomberg to go very public in the media and to pull the permit. And he said that this painting exhibition would be like a public display of a pickpocket, and that there'd be a rash of graffiti. There'd be a graffiti epidemic because of it. And it all seemed a little bit silly. I ended up suing for First Amendment rights, and that was one of 2 times I sued the city over similar kind of issues, and I won both times. But it was always kind of an inside joke amongst me and friends and coworkers, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, someone's going to tag, the White House? And it was like, what if we could? And that was where the dialogue started to happen. A friend of mine named David Droga brought in a Google map picture of Andrews Air Force Base, and that's where the dialogue started. But that was a unique moment.
Right, so you wouldn't tag Obama's
No, hell
Air Force One.
No, ma'am. No. It's a different Air Force One now.
Yeah, well, that's right.
It's a different Air Force One. That was a really unique moment in culture. People say, well, what's next, Mark? I did a similar thing with the Barry Bonds baseball in America. It's not quite as big here in the States, in Europe and internationally, the story, but it was quite big back home.
I think you have to explain who the guy is.
Barry Bonds is the home run.
It's like the Franz Beckenbauer of baseball.
Yeah, he's like a part of American pop culture and, baseball and the home run king. To be the home run king, the legacy of that. And there was a lot of speculation about it, that he used performance-enhancing drugs, kind of like our economic systems, and that he somehow got to that record fraudulently. And there was a big debate, so I bought the ball. And
the ball was $750,000.
Yeah, cheaper than Air Force One.
Okay.
But the point I was trying to make about the video is that was a unique moment. That was YouTube pre-Google. It was where users at home had less bandwidth to get content. So what you could do on video back then was there were certain laws of the size or the length of a video that would be sticky, how you would seed it. There was probably less cynicism at that time because the role of video as a medium. There weren't videos like this, precedents like this, where there were more savvy advertiser type efforts. That was just starting to happen. So there was a unique window, and that's what luck is often about in life. Luck is being able to see that window open, and then having the balls to try to venture through it.
Right. Okay, next question for both of you. Funny enough, both of you feel the need to connect with your customers even more, and you started publish a print magazine. You're both publishing print magazines now,
Yeah.
Rosebuzz and Complex, and we have a couple of Complex issues out there on the chairs.
Yeah.
But we talked a lot about the future and the new markets and stuff. It seems so last century, publishing a print magazine.
Yeah, well, it's
so why do you do it?
Yeah, it's what is fun. In fact, we are an internet company, and we are coming back to the print because I don't know if do you like to go with your laptop in your bed, or I don't know where you read. I'm not sure it's the best. When you have a real magazine in your hand like this one, or like Rosebuzz, it's great. You have nice pictures. It's an object, and it's funny to come back to this old thing also.
Right. So what about you?
I use the print. First of all, being in the paper and ink business is a little silly. I could just show you I could show you spreadsheets with numbers to prove that is the case. Even though we do make a little bit of money on it. I've really used it. I publish it 6 times a year, and what it does for me is it helps drive my .com business. Now I have complex.com. Got about 24 or so different websites within our vertical ad network. It's kind of like a male version of glam.com, much more indie, young men. And I use the print as a device to satiate celebrities' nostalgia for print. Because without it, I might not draw the talent, and either through the agents or the athletes or musicians. They still want to serve their egos and be on the cover of a magazine. But the reality is the content, the content that we either record on video or that lives online, it ultimately is most meaningful to our consumer online. So it serves as it serves as a validator, and it's this generational connector, either the advertising agencies, the celebrity agents, the celebrities themselves. There's still this generation that wants to hold this thing, which is true, but it's a little nostalgic.
Yeah, but both mix, because of course you need the paper, but you need to have it on the net. You have also rosebuzz.com where you can put videos, something that you cannot have on the print, and you can show the making of everything. So it's 2 different products. It's 2 different people who use it, and you can reach your customer directly with something which is not speaking about your brand. It's something speaking about just like Marc, about what is your brand, but where is your brand, not what you want to sell to the customer. If you look at Rosebuzz, there is nothing about Vente Privée, absolutely nothing, except the 2 last pages where it talks about the people who make Vente Privée. That's it. Because now the consumer, he knows when you want to push toward the products to him.
Yeah, my interactions is kind of a light touch, but my name is on it, and there was a lot of cynicism when I launched it. I remember going to advertisers, and they said, we're not going to put our ads, especially competitors, even though I didn't conceive of them as competitors, I'm not going to put my ad in something that's going to be, a fluff piece or the shrine to your brand. And so it was a lot of paying dues, and the print piece helped do that. And I think we're now, we hit enough of a critical mass where now the advertisers see the value. And I do, to your point, see 2 different profiles or tendencies between the print consumer and the digital consumer. But there's often overlap. But there's definitely I think more of the hardcore kid wants to own, and the hardcore consumer wants to own that print piece and kind of collect it. It's a part of the, buy, collect, obsess is a part. It's like our mission statement for the book.
Right. I think we have time for one more question. Do we have time for one more question? Yep. Okay. The other day I read an interview with Renzo Rosso of the Italian brand Diesel, and he was talking about the recession. And he actually thinks that the recession is a blessing in the luxury market, that all the brands that are not supposed to be there, that don't have a clear image, are going to be sorted out. What's your take on 2009?
I don't think that the recession can be a blessing for anyone. I'm not sure, because you have people who really feel the recession. So I wouldn't go on that. I don't know. I think the recession is not very good for anybody, and it's difficult to say, well, yeah, I surf on the recession and that's fine. No, we are in a difficult timing. It's difficult for the brand. It's difficult for everybody, and you have to be closer to your customer to go with them where they want you to go. That's it.
Marc?
What did Renzo say?
He said the recession is a blessing.
It's a blessing. All right. I love Renzo, but I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I think what the recession will do, it affects everyone, all the high and low. I think his point that he's trying to make is that the consumer wants value, and that value ratio between good design, quality, and price is this democratization of design is more important than ever. And Renzo has been on the forefront, and I pride myself as well, of being a populist when it comes to fashion, and being accessible. And I think that that's really important now more than ever. But I think in all of us, regardless of what goods or services we're providing, let this be a reminder that we need to be in the make-a-buck business. We have to be doing things where you could incrementally, even if it's just incrementally, measure that you're making a buck. And I think a lot of industries were built on speculation and it's kind of abstractions of, business 101. And I think we're back to basics. And I think that's a really critical thing, is to internalize what you're doing, look at what you're doing, and be lean and mean. And, you got to be making a buck.
Right.
It's got to be a transaction.
That's it for Fashion and Business today. Thank you so much, Xavier and Marc.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seriously.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Was Paula? Was she?
Oh, the microphone.
Okay, good. Prima.